Here are some words with in them that many non-native speakers mispronounce. Love, mother, brother, another, other. Why do so many people mispronounce these words? Because they're trying to pronounce each letter in the word, like they do in their own language. And in English, one letter can have many different sounds. So the letter O in these words is not pronounced O, it's pronounced Let's repeat them. You pronounce too. Love, mother, brother, another, other. Is the deep sound that starts down here in our chest and moves up through our throat and mouth, which are both open and relaxed. It's a sound that we make when we're punched in the gut. Even when we say punched in the gut, we use 2 times. Punched in the gut. Notice the different position of our mouth between ah and ah. On our mouth is more open and relaxed. Is what we say when we don't know the answer to a question.
And you're stuck?
Why else would a person try to engage their superior colliculus?
And you know what? Is the most frequently pronounced sound in the English language. We find in 2 situations. It may be a stressed sound, like in the word money, or an unstressed sound, like in the word banana. In banana, the second syllable, na, is stressed, but the 2 unstressed syllables sound like banana, banana. If you've been studying a lot of English, you might have seen this sound called the schwa. That's the linguistic name for it. But why is used so much in English? Mainly because in words that have more than 1 syllable, the unstressed sound is frequently pronounced It's shorter. Sometimes it's kind of like a lazy sound. All of the vowels in English can be pronounced Let's look at some examples and practice them. Let's start off with the letter A. And we'll go back to that word we did before. Banana, vanilla, salad, alphabet, chocolate. Notice in English, it has 2 syllables. Chocolate, agree, 1,000, Texas, Las Vegas, Canada. And now the letter E. Elephant, telephone, develop, problem, Los Angeles. Now the letter I. Animal, pencil, accident, promise, beautiful, California, Florida. Notice those last 2 states, when we pronounce them in English, California, Florida. The letter O, handsome, Houston, carrot, lemon, complain. The letter U, supply, ketchup, luxurious. And sometimes even the letter Y can be pronounced like syringe. Let's hope that we get a vaccine soon for the coronavirus. Maybe then we'll need a syringe. The is pronounced as a stressed vowel in a lot of one-syllable words. But also we have a lot of different letter combinations that will produce the sound. Now, those combinations are not always pronounced and this is one of the problems. So let's look at some of those single letters and then some of those letter combinations. And let's start with that letter U. When a native speaker or a native reader sees the letter U, the sound that they think of is So we have words like fun, much, flush, thunder, Sunday, funny, study, hungry, lucky. Now, as we've seen before, the letter O can also be pronounced It depends on the word. So, another day of the week, Monday, money, monkey, sometimes. Be careful, sometimes. Some of you may pronounce that like an N, so sometimes. Wonderful, and that spice, cinnamon, dozen, among. The OU combination also is sometimes pronounced like in country, country, enough, tough, rough, double, trouble, famous. I'll repeat that. Famous, delicious, cousin. Notice that again. Cousin. That last syllable is an cousin. The ION ending is also pronounced un. So we have function, satisfaction, collection, institution, region. We have a couple of OO words that also are pronounced like blood, and what we have sometimes here in Houston, flood. The AIN ending sometimes can be pronounced un also. And these words may be a little tricky for some of you to pronounce. Mountain, fountain. Notice that when we pronounce those words in American English, for most of us, we don't pronounce the T. It's a stop. Mountain, fountain. I'll do it a little faster. Mountain, fountain. Finally, the EA can also be pronounced in a few words. And one that we know, ocean, ocean. Now let's practice some sentences so that we can also work on the sentence intonation and stress. Chocolate-covered bananas are scrumptious. Chocolate-covered bananas are scrumptious. Los Angeles, California is the country's second largest city. Los Angeles, California is the country's second largest city. We'll make a delicious salad with carrots and watermelon. We'll make a delicious salad with carrots and watermelon. Will they give the coronavirus vaccine with an injection? Will they give the coronavirus vaccine with an injection? After graduation, I'll travel to famous countries and climb mountains. After graduation, I'll travel to famous countries and climb mountains. So finally, I'd like to give you a little advice about working on your pronunciation. The best thing that I can tell you is do a lot of listening. That's how we hear the words, and that's how we get our pronunciation. If we only read in books and don't hear the sounds, we're going to pronounce them like our brain thinks they should be pronounced. So you need to watch movies, you need to watch television shows, anywhere where you can hear native speakers using the language naturally. Okay, folks, thanks a lot for practicing with me today. If you have comments or questions about pronunciation or about the sound in particular, put it down below in the comments and I'll answer them for you. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do that as well down below and hit that bell so that you get notifications of when a new video comes out. And I hope you can give a like to the video as well. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon. No spam walls.